What's going on, everybody, and welcome to a brand new video on this channel. Now in today's video we're going to be going over creating a trading plan, what it is and how to make one. It's going to be a pretty simple video, so we're just going to dive straight into it. I just want to say that every trader out there has some sort of trading plan. If you've ever made one intentionally or just have one by accident, like you haven't thought about one, but every trader has a plan, and I'll kind of explain that later on. But in my sort of opinion, or my way of looking at a trading plan, we have two subcategories. We have the strategy side and we have the personal rules side. We're going to take a look at the strategy side first because this is the fun side of it. So the strategy side just basically is your strategy that allows you to make money within the market. So it's the edge within the market. It contains like your confluences lists, what needs to line up before entering a trade, for example, your risk to reward ratio that you normally aim for, contract sizes associated with that strategy or lot sizes if you're in Forex, the risk percentage for that setup, and ranking different setups like A plus to C plus. Now risk percentage for that setup, it goes hand in hand with the A plus to C plus setup. If you see like a C plus setup, you might be taking like a 0.25% risk of the account balance on it. And if you see an A plus setup, you might size up and go for like say 2%, 2.5% for that trade idea. But yeah, they kind of go hand in hand. The strategy side is pretty simple. Like everyone can grasp a strategy and kind of create their like mini trading rule book for the strategy side. It's the personal rule side that we have to kind of take a look at. The personal rule side is basically more of what you do individually when you come to trade. For example, what days do you trade? How many trades you take within a day? What's your max percent or dollar loss that you can handle within a day? The time frame you trade. So we're going to take a look at these, like in terms of like what days you trade. So for example, in my trading plan, I don't trade Wednesdays. Wednesdays have the big newses around 8:30 a.m. like CPI or some other newses. I know Fridays have NFP, but I know Wednesdays tend to have more bigger red folder newses, so I just avoided. And because of the amount of newses that it happens, the market, in my opinion, kind of correlates to those newses and kind of either moves sideways or is uptrending and will never give you some sort of entry to enter off of. And I've just basically lost on all Wednesdays, so I completely take it out of my days I trade. Now, in terms of how many trades you take within a day, so you just have to kind of look at it and be like, for example, you can only take 3 trades before you start over trading. So like you can take 3 comprehensive, calculated decisions within the market that is completely emotionless, and you're like a robot that once these line up, I enter a trade in. After those 3 trades are taken, that's when you start bringing emotions into this, and then you start over trading or revenge trading. So you got to figure out what sort of your limit is to that. Now your max percentage loss and max daily loss, this is so you don't tilt over. So it goes hand in hand with the previous one with how many trades you can take. For example, if you take 1 trade and you lose, I don't know, 5% of the account balance, that's not okay. So you have to kind of look at it and be like, okay, so within a day, I can't lose, say, more than 2% of the account balance. Once that happens, then I will start to, again, overtrade, revenge trade, and just, basically tilt for the entire day. So just, you're not, coherent. And then you got to look at your time frames that you trade. So for example, for me, I trade from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Some people like to trade midday. Some people like to trade when, the market's closed right before, where the volume picks up again. Some people only trade, say, between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Some people only trade, like the high volume times, so like 9:30 to say 10:30. You just have to figure out what works best with you so that you can, stick to that time frame. And once you kind of put all this together, you'll kind of notice like a big improvement in your trading. Then you start to eliminate some bad trades that you normally take that wipe out your wins, for example. Now, in terms of accountability, we have to kind of set some rules that once we've, hit, our goals, that we need to step aside, or once we have broken our rules, there has to be some sort of accountability to it. Now, all these accountability tips are more positive. Please stick to the positive ones. Don't beat yourself down just because you lost a trade. Be positive. There's always a learning outcome whenever you lose. But let's have a look. The easiest option is just to straight up close down your platform and go do something. So for example, running errands, play video games, watch videos, do homework, go to the gym, right? These are pretty easy. As soon as, say, you've broken your rule, close down your trading platform and launch up a video game so you can distract your mind from it. Basically, keeping your mind distracted is what you're trying to do. So even if you win, say if you win within the day, close down your platform, open up a video game, and play video games, or do homework, or do something to just distract yourself. Now, there are platform options. So I know from the Forex side, there might be like a bot that you can get that completely like stops you from trading once you've hit these thresholds. I'm not aware of any, but I trade on Top Step X's platform, and on their platform they have this sort of accountability features where they have a personal daily loss limit, where say for example $1,000 is 2% of the account balance for a 50K account. Once I hit $1,000 in losses, liquidate me and block me. So then it'll block me for the entire day and I can't look at it. They also have a personal daily profit target, but I kind of leave that 0 because you don't want to limit yourself or cap yourself to your potential. You kind of always want to, have, of course, a target, but if there's momentum that is building up towards your target and you can calculate more, growth out of it, then by all means, you can trail your stop up to those levels and have, get a bit more, I guess, profits from it. They also have trading limits, which is like, for example, maximum trades per day. You put say 3, you do 3 in there, and once you hit 3, it'll liquidate and block you out as well. But these are just some accountability tips. Now let's get on to the fun side of creating your trading plan. When it comes to creating a trading plan, it's pretty simple. First, what we have to do, or let's take a look at what a trading plan, sort of needs. The strategy name. So for example, I trade supply and demand, so it'll be a supply and demand. Then you would need to incorporate your personal rules, and then you need to incorporate some sort of accountability measure. So for example, in your personal rules section, this is where you kind of add, like I said, the days you don't trade, the time frames you do trade, the max loss or percentage that you can handle, max number of trades within a day, for example. Like you add all of this to the trading plan. And then accountability measures. So for example, if any of these are broken, you're gonna go ahead and shut down your computer or go to the gym or play some video games or do something, you know what I mean, to keep your mind distracted. Now, in order to figure out your sort of, personal rules side, there are some performance questions that you can kind of ask yourself. So for example, what days you trade the best? You got to figure out that. It's like for me, I think Mondays are my best. Tuesdays are my best. Fridays are so-so and Thursdays are so-so. But you got to figure out what days you trade the best. What days you lose money. So for example, for me is Wednesdays is when I lose money. What time frame you trade the best. So like I said, for me as well, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. How many losses before you start revenge trading? Again, that'll be like, for me, it's 2%, 3% in a day. And then I start, revenge trading. How many trades before you start over trading? I can only take, say, 3 trades, regardless if it was one of them was a win and 2 of them were losses. Then I start over trading. You got to ask yourself those sort of performance questions. It's just basically you're trying to like dig into your own head to figure out what days what you do better and what you do worse at, and you want to eliminate what you do worse at. So you got to really think about it. And whenever you come to, whenever you start trading, become a bit more aware. When you start over trading, be like, okay, how many trades did I take before I started over trading? For example, you got to ask these questions to figure it out. Once you've kind of figured this out, then you can go ahead and add it into your personal rules section. Accountability, pretty easy. I think you should be able to come up with that. And then your strategy name. So my trading plan is pretty simple. It's just literally 3 steps that is involved. Anyone can create a trading plan. I will also have I have my trading plan in a PDF version that you can take a look at down below in the description. But yeah, that's basically it. If you want to take a look at it, you can go ahead and download it there. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.